Does Banshee have a god roll? Well, you might be surprised today. Let's see what he has. We're starting with the 7th Seraph Officer Revolver. I feel like this gun is a little underrated and a lot of people don't really talk about it. But I'll tell you, I have a roll that slaps in GM Nightfalls. I use that roll for bosses, mostly on stops. And for that reason, I rock a time payload on this thing. Also, I've noticed it is a 180. A lot of people tend to go with fluted barrel on 180s. This is a tough one. I like 120s and I like 140s. So even though my favorite gun's a 150, but I really don't think that this gun needs the stability and handling that fluted barrel gives. I usually reserve fluted mostly for pulse rifles and sniper rifles. But with this gun, I'm using full bore, which is not a popular perk at all, but it gives you plus 14 range at the cost of 9 stability and 5 handling, but I don't feel it. I took this thing out just in a patrol zone the other day and was popping off with it and having fun. I really don't feel like this needs the stability. The next best perk when it comes to range is probably Hammer Forged Rifling, which is also a perk that no one is picking. That's plus 9 range. So this is my second choice, but the community isn't going for this. Out of the gold perks, if you really want stability and handling, in my opinion, you should go with Corkscrew Rifling for the plus 5 range, and it gives you plus 5 handling and plus 4 stability. For the magazine, this does come with TAC mag, but again, I don't feel like you need all the help. And if you're using this for unstops like I do, go with Accurized rounds. Why? Because Accurized, again, another perk that no one picks on this gun, gives you plus 9 range. So I'm really going with an off-meta roll here, guys. With that said, like, none of these are popular among the community. I like Hammer Forge. That's my second pick. I see no need for either of these. Ambitious Assassin, I tend not to go for this. I personally recommend 4th Time's a Charm. If you get precision hits, it'll put 2 in the chamber for you. This is excellent when doing boss or champion DPS. And then if you are using this, like I'm using it for endgame content against champions, time payload all the way. You need timed payload or explosive, but explosive doesn't come on this. You need time payload to actually get Unstoppable to work, because if you do GMs, you know Unstop doesn't work very well without that extra little pop from timed or explosive. It's just, the game just doesn't work. Surprise, surprise. So, is this a good roll? Or is this a god roll? No. Not even by community choice standards. Is it a good roll? No. Don't go for it. Toil and Trouble. This is an interesting shotgun. I know a lot of people don't really appreciate this thing. And I don't think it feels the greatest either. But it serves me well. Sometimes they'll take it out in patrol zones just to play with it. And it's okay. I think one of my biggest complaints about Toil and Trouble is how much space it takes up on my screen. You know, as someone who's spectating myself watching the gun, I mean, that's all you see is your hands and your guns. But this actually isn't a bad roll. We have full choke right here. And with this gun, it does come with Assault Mag, which is always my top choice for mags. But TAC Mag is also super solid. It also helps you with reload speed, which honestly, with a shotty, if you're out there just noodling around in patrol zones or strikes or whatever, I like reload on a shotty. This thing also has full auto trigger. I tend to go for full auto trigger on my PvE shotties, so this is my top pick. Threat detector is also a good choice. If you're using it for PvP, slide shot, but look, only use slide shot if it stays procced long enough for you to oh my god, English, to take advantage of it. Slide shot is a perk that doesn't last very long. So if you're sliding in PvP, check the left corner of your screen just to see how long you have on slide shot. And if you're not using it, if that timer ends by the time you get a kill with this thing, you need a different perk there. Slide shot's only good for guys who can manage to secure a kill or get damage on somebody while it's active. So a god roll is only a god roll if it works for you, right? And then in the last column, there's a few good perks. If you're doing PvP and you want snapshot sites, that is available. Also, Rampage is an excellent perk. On mine, I have Outlaw. Again, I like the reloader for this gun. I don't use this for PvP or endgame PvE, but a faster reload is definitely useful. So, is this a god roll? No. Is it a good roll? Actually, yeah. It's a very good roll. Pick it up if you don't have one. Wishbringer is traditionally a crucible weapon. You can tell with the little shack symbols on there. This thing, I would again tend towards full choke. It does not come with assault mag, so Accurize would be my top pick for a mag here. Or tack mag. Rifled barrel or smoothbore, depending on your taste, are also good options. So we do, or not smoothbore, small bore. And this does come with small bore. It gives you +6 stability and +9 or +6 range. Yep, +6 stability and range. So this is a pretty decent barrel for this shotty. The mag, not so much. I'm not too keen on either one of these. Watch out for extended mag because that penalizes you with a -18 reload speed. You don't want to deal with that. You can't get slide shot on this. I prefer threat detector. And then in the final column, if you're doing one shots, like if you're in PvP and you're just getting a shot here and there and reloading, opening shot comes on this gun. I would recommend that. You could also get snapshot sights, and Rampage is also a good option. Is this a god roll? No. Is it a good roll? Not at all. Gnawing Hunger. You must have a good Gnawing Hunger in your inventory. This is, in my opinion, one of the best auto rifles in the game. And I don't think that's just my opinion. I think the community at large loves this thing. You can no longer get the curated roll, which is what I use. It's arrowhead break, appended mag, overflow, which doesn't come on the gun anymore, and Rampage. And I recommend getting as close to that as possible. This is not that roll. You do have arrowhead break. In this column, you don't have appended mag on this particular gun that Banshee has. Tac mag is always a great choice. But appended mag serves me well. Like, it is excellent. And with appended mag, it gives you +5 to the mag. And I think the reason why you can get away with that is because you don't really need the reload with Rampage. The reload on this gun is stupid if you're proccing Rampage, which you will. This gun shreds. Accurized rounds is a really good alternate pick to appended because you're getting a +9 range to the mag. Let me see. Accurized rounds, yeah, +9 range. Not a bad trade. And then tap the trigger. Remember, overflow is in this column for the curated. You can't get it anymore. Tap the trigger is nice because it grants a short period of increased stability and accuracy on initial trigger pull. I'd say the only other perk in this column I really would consider is subsistence, but I think I'm more inclined to go with tap the trigger. And then Rampage. I honestly wouldn't go with anything else. This is a top tier perk on this gun. It's stupid. Is this a god roll? No, but it's a great roll. Guys, pick this gun up. This thing is stupid. I'm not so sure you need the handling. Maybe range would be good, but handling is pretty decent. Bad Omens. Don't buy it. Seriously, go play Gambit, reset your rank a few times, and you can buy the curated version from Drifter. That's it. Just go to Drifter. Tarantula. Now, we have newer players who don't really have a great arsenal at this time. They're still building them. And they've pulled out some Tarantulas in raids against raid bosses. And I was actually quite surprised at how well they were doing with all the seasonal perks. This is kind of a toughie. Now, I think what's interesting about Tarantula is a lot of people pick Fluted Barrel. Again, I don't feel like you need Fluted Barrel on linear fusion rifles, but if you like it, you like it. It gives you more stability and handling. Another gold perk, though, people are going with Hammer Forge rifling for the +10 range. I would totally go with Hammer Forge rifling for the +10 range. If you don't have Hammer Forge, though, at the expense of a stability and handling, you can get plus 13 range with full bore. So you can keep the normal stability and range and have plus 9 with hammer forge, or go with full bore. I think full bore is a perfectly viable option on this thing. Go ahead and try it. And then right here, projection fuses usually what I go for a lot of fusions and linear fusions, but this is not a community pick by any measure. And I can see why. Honestly, if you're doing boss damage, you want the liquid coils because it increases impact. So for liquid coils, you get plus 10 impact. I think that's kind of hard to argue with. I would go with the liquid coils, but projection fuse is a decent backup. It gives you a range buff. Field prep, this would be pretty easy to use in a boss fight. Just when you're standing in your friend's well, just crouch. And this is a really solid trait. However, I would personally prefer Feeding Frenzy. If your boss DPSing, Feeding Frenzy isn't going to be useful. That's why I would kind of recommend the field prep. Just go with this. If you're doing more ad clearing and like Lost Sector bosses and stuff, again, go back to the Feeding Frenzy and rock out the Rampage. But for boss DPS and raids, I would honestly recommend of the available perks, Kill Clip. Reloading after a kill grants increased damage. You can get with like 33% increased damage with precision shots, non-precision 30. Not that big of a deal with that difference. I mean, try to get your headshots anyway. Is this a god roll? No. But is it a good roll? Yeah, I think you have some options here to make it a perfectly viable roll. If you'd like to support this channel, liking and commenting on the videos tells YouTube to share these videos with others who may find them useful. If you'd like to provide monetary support to help keep this channel up and running, visit my locals and subscribe star communities.